I'd like you all to consider the following scenario. Hannah is walking through a deserted park. Along the way, she comes across 12-year-old Billy, who is drowning in a pond. Hannah is in a position to save Billy, or at least summon help. Nevertheless, she's running late for a job interview. As a result, she walks on by, Billy then drowns and dies. Now, after hearing that scenario, I'm pretty certain that the vast majority of you probably feel some disgust for Hannah's callous indifference. Maybe some of you are thinking that this event is highly unrealistic and nobody would react in the same way Hannah did. Unfortunately though, this is not one of those abstract thought experiments. As can be seen in the case of Yui Yui, a 2-year-old girl was run over, and as she lay there bleeding and dying on the road, at least 18 passers-by ignored her. Now, under English criminal law, Hannah and those passers-by have committed no crime, as there is no duty to rescue under English criminal law. My thesis will be investigating whether this is correct and whether we should introduce a Good Samaritan law which would criminalise Hannah. In order to do this, firstly, I will explore the nature of our moral duties. How far do Hannah's moral duties extend? Do they only extend towards her close family and friends, or do they also extend to strangers? Secondly, even if there does exist a moral duty, should this duty be enforced by criminal law? This now gets to the heart of the research, and the current consensus is that it's not the job of the law to perfect human behaviour, and whilst the law should prevent us from causing harm, it should not force us to be good. Now, what's interesting about this is this approach is radically different from so many other European countries which actually do have a Good Samaritan law and would actually legally compel Hannah to rescue Billy. In conclusion, my findings so far are that whilst it's not the job of the law to perfect human behaviour, both respect for the law and the level of social cooperation will greatly increase if the law encourages morally desirable conduct. Whilst it is possible for a society to exist without a Good Samaritan law, a society which fails to protect the vulnerable strikes me as cold, callous and uncaring. After all, we all need to face up to the possibility that one day, like Billy, we may one day require emergency aid. And for that reason, it's about time our society catches up with the rest of Europe, our criminal law reflects the rest of Europe and protects the vulnerable. Thank you for listening.